Anybody get it, man? We gon' rise up, rise up. We rise up. If you come against the king, man, we gon' rise up. If you come against our Elohim, we gon' rise up. It don't matter, anybody get it, man. We gon' rise up, we rise up. Rise up, and rise up.
Oh me, oh my. Atheist tweeting OMG. Life came to a standstill and then got real with them prophecies. Every time we done pass go, monopolize the monopoly. You give us 200, take 300, charge us for the property. Y'all gave us this authority. To be honest, got it honestly. Which means we are joint heirs. Siamese twins on a trampoline. We speak what he wrote.
Hey, shalom y'all, shalom y'all, shalom. It's your boy Michael Israel here. What we're doing today is a relationship question and answer. If you have questions, you can put them in there, and then I'm going to be addressing some questions that people have written me that I didn't have a chance to get to, so I'm going to just address them on here. Some people have emailed me some questions, and some people have, in the comments on Messenger, all that. So I'm going to address those questions, and if you guys have questions, just you could type them in there, or you could send them to me on Messenger or whatever, and I'll answer them because I got plenty of time today. All right? So just enjoy the music. I'm going to get everything up and going, and then we'll get started.
Rise up in the morning, see my people in poverty, crying out to my people, asking me why you bother me. Slaves, we living in colonies, walking like zombies who bred with lobotomies. Even preacher man and creature man, down low with them sodomies. And no, it isn't an oddity, rather the norm, so check the academy. They say if it ain't easy, I guess that's the academy. Rise, I'm getting an anatomy, know that they lie to me, no longer lie to me. Yeshua flipped up the process. Yeah, I molded the pottery. Hold up. What they gonna do when they show up? Will they ever grow up? Cause some rather be with a bowl than a running plant seed with a sower. You remember Noah? What you gonna be when the blow when they haven't received didn't roll up? Then you're gonna go up. You better reread what you know of mainframe DP and to go up.
If you come against the scriptures, man, we gon' rise up. If you come against our heritage, we gon' rise up. It don't matter, anybody get it, man. We gon' rise up, rise up. We rise up. If you come against the king, man, we gon' rise up. If you come against our Elohim, we gon' rise up. It don't matter, anybody get it, man. We gon' rise up, we rise up. Rise up, and rise up. Judah, rise up. Benjamin, rise up. Levi, rise up. Asher, we gon' rise up. Naphtali, rise up. Reuben, rise up. Issachar, rise up. Zebulun, we gon' rise up. Manasseh, rise up. Ephraim, rise up. Gad, rise up. Dan, we gon' rise up. 12 tribes, rise up. 12 tribes, rise up. 12 tribes, rise up. 12 tribes, we gon' rise up.
All right. Shalom, y'all. Shalom. It's your boy Michael Israel here. Shalom to all y'all watching. Shalom, brother Darmic, Darmic, Sister Ayana, Elaine Durant, Beat Brothers. Shalom to all y'all, and shalom to the folks watching on YouTube. I think if my YouTube froze up, the YouTube on my phone here froze up, so I really can't see what's going on there. But I'll get it up and going in a second. But yeah, with that said, I'm going to be addressing some questions. I'm be doing more of a question and answer. This is more of a laid-back discussion type lesson and teaching today. So like I said, if y'all got any questions out there, y'all can put them in there. But let me get started with this. All right. I need to go to pull up some of this some of these questions that I've been getting. And then one of the interesting things I saw today, the drummer for Beyonce, if y'all not familiar with the story, the drummer for Beyonce, she accused her of basically extreme witchcraft. And so there was an interview. They did an interview with her today, or I guess they did it yesterday. They put it out, and I watched it. And I can tell you the way it's gonna come off is it's gonna come off as her looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, if somebody's doing witchcraft, you're gonna go crazy. If you ain't grounded in the truth, you're gonna go crazy. You're gonna lose your mind. And something to know is like a lot of witchcraft and stuff like that isn't necessarily sitting there running around doing all the weird stuff with chicken bones and all that weird stuff. It's a lot of it is manipulation too, just psychological games and stuff like that. And that's what she talks of a lot. But I could already tell you just from watching the interview, society's gonna try to make her look like the crazy one. But I mean, that's what when somebody's doing so-called witchcraft on you and you're not grounded in the truth, that's what it'll do. Okay. All right. Now let me see. And then we actually got a couple things to talk about. So this will actually pan out to be all right. There we go. Let me put this over here so I don't have to look way over there for it. But so and kind of hey, shalom, brother Ugo. A person made the point. All right, hold on one sec. All right, there we go. Yeah, person was making a point that one of the main things that have to be fixed, and this kind of ties in with this situation here, but one of the main things that needs to be fixed, he put this comment on my fixing our black women lesson I did a while back, and he was saying what mental illness is rampant in the black community. Yeah, absolutely. So that was one of his main statements he made, and there's a statistic out there that I have read about mental illness, particularly depression among black people, particularly among the sisters. So, and it's higher with black women than any other demographic, black men, white men, all that stuff like that. And to speak on that a little bit, when you're not grounded in this truth, when you're not walking according to the Most High's word, when you're not walking according to the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, you got one, like I put it like this: if you're not heavily clinging to this word, you're gonna either be on medication or you're gonna be crazy. Some type of medication, whether it's smoking weed or doing some type of drug or getting some type of prescription drug, or you're just gonna go crazy. And that's the hey, shalom, brother Sean. Shalom, Masa. So yeah, you're gonna be you're gonna lose your mind. You will go crazy, and that's deception, the illusion of this world, particularly of America, is you look at America, you know, you look at this country and it's visually appealing. But when you get below the surface of this country, it's full of demonic energy. It's a nightmare. We had a bunch of our unit, when I was in the military, our unit went to Thailand. And every time I asked anybody, you know, when they got back, because I didn't go with them, but when I came back, I asked everybody, you know, what'd you think of it? And the first thing they'd always say, man, they're so poor there. They're so poor. You know, Thailand is so poor. This, that, and the other. But the second thing they'd always say was those were the nicest, happiest, most humblest people we ever seen. You know, they give you the shirt off their back. They're just nice and humble. And depression and all these mental illnesses, which is a demonic illness, if you ask me. But anyway, all these mental illnesses, all this crazy stuff is highest here in America. These other countries, like their suicide rate over there is non-existent. They don't have depression issues, none of that. And see, what the big deception is that new shiny things is success or is the end all be all. Like that's what gets pushed over here. It's called capitalism. They gotta keep you buying. But it's not about that. Another interesting statement, and y'all can tell me, you let me know what your thoughts are on this. But what I've seen as I begin to reach out and talk to the African brothers over there, on the surface, it looks like we have it better over here. Okay? But then when you really begin to look at it, we are completely destroyed over here. We have absolutely no idea who we are, what we are, how to function, anything. Over those brothers over there in Africa, they still have a remnant, a little piece of who they are, how they are to function, you know, their identity, you know. But a lot of them, I think, try to emulate us, you know. So it's like, but we are completely destroyed over here where they've wiped out any inkling of us being anything. And then they, on top of that, not only, you know, that, but then they've put in this programming into our minds of that's designed to destroy us. It's like insidious. Like, so they've given us this culture and this way of being to just keep us completely, totally destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Those brothers over there, they're pushing that agenda in on them at the best they can. But over here, like this brother said, this is Babylon. Like it is a complete brain wipe where we're in the process of building ourselves up from the ground up of who we are, you know? But yeah. So, Sister Hicks, she put, baby boomers like myself, mental illness was like a taboo back in the day. Yeah. Now, you weird if you don't have a mental illness or you're not, you know, they're not pushing these pills on you. And then the other thing is, it's like it's the high 90-something% of people who commit suicide are on those mental illness medications, you know. And like I said, if you don't cling to this Bible because look, truth be told, man, let me just say this, dude, even Hebrews, I mean, you get on Facebook, like I saw a funny meme, it said Facebook gives people with mental illnesses a podium to teach on. Like look, man, there's some Hebrews that's friends with me that and they crazy. Like I see it. Like they friends are following me on Facebook, and I'll be watching they posts. I'm like, yo, this dude crazy, you know, and be making weird and crazy posts. It's all right. So, brother Hosea, you said med is sin. Nah, I don't. Are you saying medication is a sin? I don't agree with that because it talks about it in the Apocrypha. You know, what I would say a sin. When you do a good Bible search on sorcery, and sorcery is any like drugs that mess with your mind and make you let your I forget what the word is, but they cause you to let down your guard where you're not vigilant. But medications like painkillers and stuff like that, I wouldn't say no. I'm playing with the word. Oh, okay. I got you, bro. Yeah, but so like, cause I know, you know, and this gonna push a lot of people away, but dude, a lot of our Hebrews smoke weed, you know, and the Bible, that's sorcery because and I've heard a number of real good breakdowns, but a couple things about weed or marijuana is number one, it kills your testosterone and your aggression. It pacifies you. It takes the go up out of you. That's why, like when I used to play basketball, sometimes the football players would come in there and stuff like that, and I used to ask them, why so many of y'all smoke weed? And they were like, because they said we're turned up all the time. Like we're all the time, we like in this like warfare mindset that we got to get into before we go out for a game. A heightened sense of awareness and all that. And what they were saying is the only way to come down from that, from being in that state so long, is to smoke weed. Because it takes that aggression up out of you. And the thing is, weed, the original marijuana didn't even get you high. It was more of the CBD or whatever the good stuff in there is. So what they did is bred it to get to that level, you know. And there's just a whole bunch of stuff, like especially smoking. You smoke it, it's bad for your lungs. Part of that high is your brain trying to fight the toxins off from the smoke. So, you know, it's not a natural thing. It's not natural, you know, to be messing with that. And then if you hit it too hard, it'll give you so-called psychosis, which is demonic possession. But the thing is, the Most High's word said, be vigilant, be sober-minded. Like, be sober so you can, you know, don't be out there, hey, man, you all like this and all that, you know. And when you got to be on your grind, you got to be aggressive. You got to be a soldier out here. You ain't gonna be no soldier just sitting there on your couch, you know, hey, man, thinking about weird stuff, man. Hey, you know, let's go get something to eat. You know, so you got to, you know. But, yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one, you know. Yeah, so farmer equals witchcraft. Exactly. And even the dude was talking about the Indians. He was talking about how the Indian guy said, hey, you Americans, y'all are crazy. He said, y'all take peyote or whatever that was, the mushrooms, something, one of those so-called hallucinogens. He said, y'all take those and then y'all take those and then you take them without a shaman. So y'all go into the spirit world and you don't have a shaman go in there with you, and you come out of the spirit world and you don't know what you bring out of there with you. Because they are aware that that's just a gateway to the spirit world. It lets your guard down and the spirit could jump on you. And I know y'all seen all these videos with these dudes smoking that new synthetic stuff. And the next thing you know, they demonically possessed. Oh, but anyway, kind of getting off. I got an interesting topic that I'm going to speak on for a couple minutes here. And I'm going to probably go into even more about the fact, something I see, and it's insidious because it ends up affecting relationships, especially among our black folks, is, and the way I'd state this is, women need less respect. So we got to stop showing our women so much respect and show them more love. Okay? Because this society is pushing you, is telling men, hey, you got to respect these women. You know, everything's the woman's respect. You know, they act like the carnal sin you could do out there is to disrespect the woman, like, or anything, and not have them on that pedestal. And that kind of ties me into one of the questions a brother came at me with. And this is coming out of Trinidad, but and what the answer to a lot of the questions I get is, yeah, you're giving too much respect and you're not giving enough love. And when I say love, I'm not just talking about the cupcake and ice cream and flowers type love, but also love can be correcting them. Love can be not making stupid decisions to piss them off, to where they can't trust in you. You know, that's love too, you know. And when you look up the definition of love and what love is according to the Most High's word, it's keeping his law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? And it says his commandments aren't grievous, and they're not grievous because they're going to keep you out of all this trouble. Okay? So, yeah. Yep. And it's about applying that. It's about that action. Exactly. It's about putting it into action. And, you know, something, it's like, I got to go, I'm getting ready to go through my Facebook, through the channels I'm subscribed to, and I'm getting ready to go to, I'm getting ready to go through YouTube, through the channels I'm subscribed to, because I'm looking at all the teachings on there, and I realize, dude, and I got a lot of channels on there, but out of all these channels is maybe a small, maybe I'd say 15 to 16 people that's bringing something out that's applicable. The rest, like, it's just talking. It's like, what are y'all even saying? Like, I could click and pull up one of the message, and they're talking about absolutely nothing while people are going through stuff. That's why I'm making I'm gonna be making sure I speak more. Like me and Ugo, he's on here watching. Check out his channel. He got a good channel. He I can't pronounce his whole name, but he's right there in the comments, Ugo, and you can type his name in on. He's big on YouTube, and he talks about a lot of true stuff. A lot of people are tiptoeing through the tulips and don't want to, you know, I don't want to ruffle nothing up, you know, when in the meantime, there's 20 elephants in the room. And we got to start getting these daggone elephants out of the room. And nobody want to talk about it. And the biggest elephant in the room is going to be relationships always. Because that's the first thing Satan attacks, and that's what he's still attacking. And that's the thing that's destroying brothers and sisters, is relationships. And a lot of our women have been hurt And the way this society is, it kind of gives them comfortable, slick outlets to stay hurt, but stay relevant and not address the real issues, you know? So, the thing just has to be spoken on, but it has to be spoken on because, again, we're dealing with hurt. Same thing with brothers. I watch brothers because they get into this thing. They don't, men and women alike are growing up. This sexual energy ain't getting explained to them properly. And, you know, you say whatever you want. Sex can be a weapon of mass destruction. I watch dudes just blow their life apart. Like I said, I've dealt with a lot of death and suicide all growing up over folks not understanding sex, lust, emotions. And I watched women. I remember I was in the Air Force, and this girl who came in around the same time as me, she came in from New Jersey. And you know, cool girl, whatever, but she came in there, messed with the wrong dude, and lost her mind, ended up going crazy. So by the time I left that base, she was crazy. Because she had just messed her mind up, just being young, getting into that first relationship, and thinking you got to give all your emotional attachment or whatever that emotion is, the Bible calls it inordinate affection. Get inordinately affectionate about somebody, and then throw yourself into the danger zone. That's the name. I mean, that's what happens. I see y'all put some statements in here. Brother Sean put, I think we get away from that a lot, far as applying the scripture daily to build character. Yeah, that's big. One can have a lot of knowledge, but lack of character. Brother Sean, that is the issue with Israel. Because this is the thing. If you search, you can search around for Christian churches. If you dig good enough, you're going to find some Christian teachers who smashing on character, where you're going to be all right. You're going to be straight. Because they bringing it out. They bringing the word out. And they harping on character. And at the end of the day, because that's one of the issues I have with a lot of Israelites, they harping on doctrine and law so hard. And the doctrine and the law is pointing you to developing your character. Like, that's the whole thing is pointing you at. And they miss that. And like I said, I done dealt with some Hebrews who were like, it's like, really? Like, you read the Bible for real? You sure? And the only thing they want to do is tell you about it. But they don't know character development. You know? So it's like, and that's widespread. That's why I'm getting ready I'm slowly doing a purge on my YouTube page, because it's like I see videos pop up and I just look at the video. I don't even play it. I just look at the title and I was like, you know, why did he put that up? And then a lot of the people, look, truth be told, like that dude said, Brother Berean, like he was kicking truth. He gonna just keep it 100. That dude had me dying on that one video. He's like, man, I'm gonna really keep it 100. He's like, I didn't take my medication today. Yo, but for real, he made a good point of certain people, they don't want you to say their name. They don't want you to talk about them in certain groups, because like certain people are just kicking out pure truth, but it be hurting people. So they don't, well, don't bring that person's name up here, But this, man, however you feel about it, there's some teachers out there that kick pure, unadulterated truth, but a lot of people can't handle that because, you know, they don't want to deal with that pain. It's a lot of it is a spirit of fear. All right, Brother Jerry put, likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. Exactly. That's a good verse. And this is something, and that's 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. That's something that I've been teaching a lot that doesn't get taught. And that's something where a lot of teachers who just bring it real raw, you got to teach it in a wise, balanced way. Because I've seen brothers, hey, man, you know, you tell the dude, hey, you need to man up. Like, you letting her run over you. She don't have no respect for you, so you got to man up. Boom, he go all the way to the other end. You got to punch her in the head. Hey, you going to do what I say? And, like, just go to the other extreme. But you got to dwell with the woman according to wisdom as her being the weaker vessel. So there's a balance to that. And like I said, the way how I teach that balance is I've come up with my own little thing. I just break it down into 3 things. The woman needs affection, direction, and correction. The affection is just being sensitive and being sensitive enough to your own thoughts and emotions and her thoughts and emotions to be able to understand what's going on in certain situations. You know, most of the time a woman ain't just yelling and nagging to nag. Sometimes she ain't feeling good. Sometimes something you did is whatever. So that's part of the affection part. The direction is being wise, being a wise man, making the right decisions, you know, not being stupid. Okay. And then the correction is being willing to stand up to her, not let her run over you, and being willing to correct her when she's off. And that's dwelling with them according to weaker vessel. That's loving them, you know. But a lot of these, the reason why they got a problem with a lot of these camps, and a lot of people who kind of associate themselves with those types of teachings, because they just go straight from the from being a soft pushover to just being this extreme macho boy who does nothing but correct and thinks that's what it is. And then, like I said, I'll be counseling brothers so they can avoid divorce because they're doing that. I counsel people in the camps to avoid divorce because that's the understanding they end up getting. Is, oh, I just got to lord over my wife. All right, Brother Ugo put his link there to his YouTube channel so y'all can check that out. You know, I do. And cause I talk to him. He's one of the main dudes. He can explain doctrine and not waste no time and put a bunch of fluff behind. He gets straight to the point. And then he's willing to teach doctrine on the issues that nobody want to talk about. So that's why I got respect for Brother Ugo, because he's willing to address the elephants in the room. Okay? So, shalom, Brother John, J. Lutch. All right, so Sister Hicks, she put, I think the Most High, you put, I thank the Most High for getting in with groups of real Hebrews who teach and love the Most High. This thing's moving, so that's why I'm having a hard time reading. When I was in the church, I thought the Israelites on the soap box were the only group in NYC. Only group in NYC. I couldn't stand them. I'm thankful to balanced teachers. Okay. And and you know, it's good that everybody knows we're out here. People who who teach this thing in a balanced way and don't get all crazy and emotional. And I'll tell you what, when that documentary comes out, folks are really going to know about us. And I can tell you this, that documentary that Josh and Morris and Dwayne put out recently went very big. People don't understand that that was a big signal and sign that, hey, there's people out here who will reason this word with you, and it's not because we have high character, it's not going to turn into a ego nightmare thing. But I'm going to also tell you this. Like I said, I'm going to keep it 100. As far as these camps, I don't throw the camps away. I ain't bashing them. I'm not saying, because what happens in the balanced Hebrew community, you see they give a lot of these camps, they act like the camps is worse than our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? Certain camps, and these camps differ from each other, just almost like balanced Hebrews differ from the camps. And people don't realize that. They just kind of look at the way they dress and throw them all in the same pot. And I admit, like, GMS is way off. Way off. Like, because, like, part of their doctrine is you can have sex with white women because they're not humans. Something crazy like that. So they be messing with them. You know, so that's way off. I give you that. But some of them, like, I came into the knowledge that I was a Hebrew through GOCC. You know, but what happened, I began to watch it longer and longer, and I noticed they weren't breaking the doctrine down consistently. And when I say consistently, I mean sometimes they'd explain the script this way, then they'd explain it this way. So I just kind of continued searching, you know. I like IUIC and ISUPK are totally different. I didn't even realize how different those two groups were. IUIC, they don't allow women to wear makeup. They don't allow women have to wear skirts. They can't wear pants. Well, ISUPK, the women can wear makeup. The women can wear pants. Like, there's a lot of huge differences, you know. And I'll say this. Among balanced Hebrews, I done ran into some just straight wicked cats. And among balanced Hebrews, I ran into a lot of true brothers that I would never, you know, that I've never met in my life. Like, my whole life growing up until I came into this, like, and got to James 1:1, started meeting brothers. I met some brothers that I knew were like my spiritual brothers. But same thing with the camps. I ran into a lot of dudes in the camps who were just straight wicked brothers. But I've ran into some good brothers because I give them counseling. And I see right where their heart's at. But they just up in them camps. And I would say this on the camps. What I think is going to happen in the future is when you got to focus on Ezekiel, the dried bones scripture. And understand that it's a body and we're waking up and we're like in this stage right now where we're like, you know, wiping the stuff out and, you know, and each bone has to connect to the bone it goes to. And understand that there's different parts of the body. The eyeball can't be a foot and the foot can't be an eyeball. It's just not going to work. The eyeball has to be soft and sensitive in order to pick up light. That foot got to be tough in order to take a pounding. And I think what you see is the early stages of all that beginning to come together. Because, like the brothers in ISUPK, I deal with one of them down here. If he needs his car fixed, I'll go fix it. You know, we talk, whatever. But ISUPK, if you had some type of situation, if you felt threatened that like some white supremacists were going to attack your house or something, they would send people down to guard your home for you. You see what I'm saying? Now, they talk all that stuff, but they would protect you if you ask them to. So we got to understand that. So it's going to be that thing with the camps is going to be a growth process. And I'm not telling you go in there and go join one. I think them camps are for people who are getting out of jail and people in the streets who they need something hard. They need, like, if you dealt with these folks in the street coming out of that life, they need something rock solid, crazy hard. That's the only thing that's going to wake them up. But I don't think everybody need that. All right, Brother Sean put, we also have to know that Yah works through our wives too, and we have to take heed and listen to them also. Exactly. And that's part of the affection part of that equation I said is exactly being able to, a lot of what I deal with, though, Brother Sean, is like people coming at me because their wives are always yelling at them. And when the woman starts yelling at them and going crazy, it throws them off because they're not grounded in their identity. So they get all, and then it could turn into physical situations. So that's what I've dealt with, is people on that level. You got a lot of brothers who, you know, there's some of our people they've married, they were mature spiritually and emotionally, and the woman was mature spiritually and emotionally, and they got married, and the stuff works. But the bulk of our people, the woman been molested, the dude done been hurt and been raised by his mother, and he off, so everything's out of balance, and it's just a hot mess. And then they get married, and then it's just a rocky road, and they trying to sort through all this emotional and spiritual dysfunction. So that's the bulk of what I deal with. So I have to, and I got to make sure I come at it balanced, not one-sided, because somebody can end up getting hurt. So I try to always talk about both sides equally, or I try to talk about both sides as good as I can perceive that they're receiving it, and keep it balanced. And then that tends to work better. Now, IUIC does believe in baptism. I actually asked the dude that because somebody else was telling me that. And I asked him that. But what they said is, well, he said they do believe in baptism, but they don't believe it's necessary. So then you right there, Jay Lutz. That's probably the point you making. So I got you. And yeah. So some teachers say the Ruach HaKodesh, Holy Spirit, is a female. Brother Ugo did a lesson on that, and you could check, because the reason I like his breakdown, whenever he's teaching, and this is a big thing for any of y'all, anybody teaching something, including me, is make sure they back what they're saying up with scripture. So, what's the name? Brother Ugo, he does a good breakdown on that, and he backs it up with scripture. And this is my thing. Even if you teaching something and you teaching it wrong, if you going through it in an organized way and backing it up with scripture, we'll see where you're wrong at. But you got some people who teach stuff and they're not backing it up with scripture, and they just slide in. That's manipulative. Now you're being wicked, because now you slide in weird doctrine in on people. Shalom. Okay, I see. So Jerry put Holy Spirit, pneuma, can be seen gender neutral, but the Bible clearly refers to the Spirit, Holy Spirit, as a he. That's just a way of affirming a misunderstanding of masculinity we call God Father. But see, well, I'm not going to get into doctrinal stuff because I ain't super solid in all that. But what I am super solid in is relationships. And I know that the model of a family and the functionality of a family is a model of what's going on with the Most High. So, for instance, you got God. You got the father. You got the mother, and then you have a son, and you got that hierarchy going that way. And if you watch Brother Ugo's video on YouTube, he breaks that down. I mean, but that's his department there. All right, somebody put the camps are needy, but we need them to start teaching truth with the spirit of Yeshua. Okay. I think you put the camps are needed. Yeah, that's what you put. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. They're needed because see, that's the thing. For instance, ISUPK, when these dudes get out of prison, if they come in there, they give them a place to stay. They have a program to get them off the addiction of drugs and detoxify them. They give them jobs, and they start teaching them this word. Now, some of the breakdowns, like, be off. Like, I don't like I on a spiritual level, when they do spiritual teachings, I say that's on, but that some of the doctrinal break-offs, like I heard them break something down about like the Hamites in Africa and the people over there, and I was like, what the heck is he talking about? It's like I couldn't even sit there and listen through that, So, but like I said, it's a process. Me personally, what I think's going to happen is I think some truth is going to come out about Africa and our people that flies against a lot of those camps' doctrines, and it's going to cause them, some of those camps are going to just fall apart because they're not willing to compromise their doctrine. They say, we got it already. And nobody got it. And even if you do got it, it don't mean you got it because Judas had it. Judas had the doctrine. He had it down better than any of y'all camps, claim to. But that don't mean you get it because you got it. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, man, so, all right. So, let me check YouTube because we got some stuff on YouTube now. So, what they wrote is, how do you stay patient with your wife that's just now coming into the truth? Brother, that is a good question. I'm glad you asked that because I've been meaning to talk on that. What a good question. What's your name, Brother Damien? Good question, man. All right. So, and it's such a good question because it's a lot of that's going on around me, and I was actually counseling a brother. He's in one of the camps on this, and what happened, he came into the camp, and what he was seeing was how the other men's wives were like serving them, and they were being respectful, and this, that, and the other, and they, law this, do the law, law, and he seen all that. So then what happened? He started going home. Hey, you need to put on a skirt. Hey, we not eating pork up in here no more. Hey, this, boom, this smashing in the head with the doctrinal stuff, surface level stuff. And what happened? A woman is sensitive. They are very sensitive to whether you're to everything, to who you are as a man, to whether you're being a man. women are sensitive to that. So when a woman can pick up whether you're being a real masculine man or whether you're just being a pushover macho boy. So long and short, the way to win her over is meet her where she's at. So for instance, if you try to cram it down her neck, it's like a cat. Like if you walk up and try to pet a cat, it's gonna run from you. But if you just kind of sit there, be yourself, do your thing, the cat will begin to come up to you and kind of circle around your leg and everything like that. Okay? So that's a similar analogy to how you got to handle this situation. So, and put in there whether she's in a Christian church or whether she's just an unbeliever, if you could, Damon, on there. If you could put that in there. But the thing is, what you got to do is meet her where she's at. That's why that thing I said, a woman needs correction, a woman needs affection, direction, and correction. And the thing is, and all this, and I'll pull up some Bible scripture so I ain't just rambling, but all this can be backed up with the word. And the big problem is everybody's pushing the carnal law so hard, the surface level law. And like that verse Jesus said, he said, where he talked about the whited sepulchres, you clean the outside of the glass. So you're not eating pork. You're keeping the Shabbat. You're telling her don't wear a skirt or don't wear pants and all this stuff. So you cleaning the outside of the glass, but your wife see that you just straight dirty on the inside. You're not a real man on the inside. When I say real man, I mean you're not applying the word to your character as a man. Okay? You're not walking with biblical character. Okay? And developing that biblical character is developing that patience, that long suffering, that ability to empathize what she's feeling, being sensitive to what she's feeling. When I say being sensitive to what she's feeling, being able to kind of discern, okay, this is what's really going on, So, and as you begin to develop and walk with your biblical character, you'll begin to earn her respect. And then when she respects you, she'll submit to you. You see what I'm saying? But just telling her, hey, she needs to stop eating pork, and she like, yeah, but I'm not feeling you. Like, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? You see? So you got to develop yourself. There's more to it than that, to winning them over. And this is very common. So, brother, you put, she has been raised to be spiritual, no religious affiliation. Okay. So, like, for instance, there's one brother I talked to, and, like, his wife was into something else. She was in another church, and he came into the truth. And what I told him is, instead of sitting there, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into this, but I'll tell you the first part. All right. So instead of just sitting there and harping on stuff that y'all disagree with, hey, you gotta stop doing that. You can't do this. We gotta do this because it says it here. You said she's spiritual. Well, hey, baby, let's sit down and do a Bible study. So what are your thoughts on blah, blah, blah? And she gives her thoughts on something y'all do agree on, and just talk about it and show it to her in the Bible. To where now y'all are beginning to build a connection over the word. keep it light, keep it funny, no heavy subjects, no put down. So don't stay away from subjects that are going to cause a bunch of strife. That's one part of it. The biggest part of it is walk this word out in spirit and in truth in yourself. So if you get needy and emotional and angry trying to cram this Bible down her throat, you'll probably end up getting divorced. But if you begin studying this word, you don't even bring it up around her or anything. You just study this word and begin to develop it in yourself. She begins to see that you're not really argumentative and upset about whatever she's doing. You walking it out in your way. You living it out. You becoming a man who is showing the affection. You growing in the direction. You making wise decisions. You moving forward. You see what I'm saying? She's seeing this thing manifest in your life and you walking in the blessings. Then what's she going to do? She going to naturally come towards you. And, well, she going to be like, well, show me where it says so. And they'll come up to you and ask you. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you got to do it. You see what I'm saying? You got to walk it out, get your mind right, apply the character development part of that word to your mind and to yourself. And spiritual combat, one of the main things is I'm teaching men to be biblically masculine, balanced men. Once you do that, everything else, and that's why you don't, like, one of the signs that a lot of dudes are emotional because men have been feminized. Like you all you gotta do is look on Facebook and see dudes like going crazy in the comments. Like I might come in every now and then on a hot thread or post or whatever and make a couple comments, but then eventually I got too much of a life to go. You know what I'm saying? Get real involved in that stuff. Like get emotional. Like a lot of dudes are emotional and they let stuff shake them up. A dude at my job, he was just telling me how he walked in and the people at the table were talking about how, a bunch of white folks, but they were having a racist political conversation. It's like once you understand, hey, this nation, that's how they act. Like, that's how I am. I'm like, this nation, the Greco-Roman European people, that's how they act as a nation. I'm not saying every white person acts this way and that's how I treat them. But as a nation, that's how they act. Now, when they show themselves to be different, when they show themselves to be in this truth, I'm accepting. But I have understanding that, hey, that's how they act as a nation. That's their team. That's how their team plays ball. That's cool. But on my team, boom. So what I'm trying to say is when you're grounded and you in your understanding, when you're grounded in biblical masculinity and wisdom, situations don't blow you around like that. And then real fast, to give you an analogy that I always give is in the emotional storms of a relationship and being in a relationship with a woman and everything like that. In those emotional storms and in those emotional hurricanes, you can't be tumbleweed. You can't get blown all over the place. And you can't go to the other extreme and be a oak tree and let the emotional turmoil relationship blow you till you just break and fall and hit the ground and put your hands on somebody and flip out. You got to be a palm tree in the emotional hurricane of a relationship. The palm tree kind of is firm, is rooted, is grounded, but it gives, it flexes, with the wind. And that's how you got to be. And that's a big thing that I see with these dudes. They come into the truth, and then they're wanting their wife. Come on, woman. Get this truth. Stop eating that pork. You know, and then they end up pushing her away and stressing themselves out. Okay, so somebody else wrote something here. They wrote, my husband had to back off me and allow Yah to work on me. And by watching him and reading the Bible, much more was revealed to me. See, that's how you know spiritual combat, Michael Israel. You just had an example right here. So sister put it right there, what I said. Just back off and she gonna watch, she be like, like, instead of investing all of our money in lotto tickets, he bought a rental property. She'd be like, you know, he didn't get mad at me about so-and-so. He just gave me a kiss and said, I understand, baby. You know, they're going to see it. And this lady, she just said it right there. So that's a witness. I appreciate that. So that's how to do it. And I'm telling you, real talk. Shalom, Barbara. I'm telling you, real talk. This is just coming from the front line. I do a lot of counseling, and a lot of it be with the camps where the dudes just come in and they just, nobody's teaching them, breaking this thing all the way down. So they just go in and, you know, force their wife out the house, force their wife into a divorce. It's a nightmare, you know, and the Most High didn't deal with you like that. He didn't, you know, force the word on you. He was patient. He showed long suffering. You know, he let you run into some walls and bang your head up and let you learn on your own at your own pace. So that's why, you know, I bang on that, because I mean, you know, he didn't. I mean, look, I went how many years out there drinking, partying, sinning, wilding, and the Lord was just like, and then eventually I was like, oh, this don't work. You know what I'm saying? So then, and then you got these dudes, and now you expect the woman to just jump into this? Nah. And if she's even remotely open, because you said your wife was spiritual, that's good. You got a lot to work with there. And I done seen some brother, like, they wife hate it, and not even because they forced it on them. Well, that's bad. You know, they in a bad situation. So, but yeah, man, but that's a very common situation, and a lot of dealing with relationships in these situations is counterintuitive. It's not the obvious route. The obvious thing, okay, she don't want to stop eating pork. Okay. Well, next time she's cooking it, I'm going to smack it out of her hand, you know. Nah. That's not, you know, I'm going to force her to wear a skirt or whatever. Or on a Shabbat, I'm going to tie her to the couch. And then she won't be able to move, and then she'll be keeping it, and she won't go anywhere. You know, nah, it don't work that way. You know what I'm saying? All right. So let's see. Yeah, like I said, if y'all got any questions, go ahead and ask them. I'm kind of just hitting on all types of stuff today. It states deal with them. Yeah, so somebody put in here, exactly, that Bible verse says, deal with the woman according to understanding. Hey, put that Bible verse in there if you could. I think I'll be able to pull it up here, because I'm a read over a couple of my Bible verses, just showing you that what I just told you, Brother Damon over there on YouTube, what I just told you, I just want to make sure you know that I'm not talking out the my chin. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show you that is right here in the word, and that what I'm saying is solid. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna pull it up real quick for you. All right, there we go. Okay, so I got a couple scriptures here, and okay, so I don't know that now. That's make it. That's not a good one. So I got a couple here. It says, trying to find it. Let's see if y'all put it in there yet. Okay. All right. All right. So let me see. Man, it's like some of my scripts are missing. All right, there we go. I think I got it. It's loading up though. All right, so it's 1 Peter 3-7. All right. 1 Peter 3-7. Let it load up there. There it goes. And that was the first verse, or one of the first. But it says, this is a heavy one. This is a good one, because this is Ecclesiasticus, chapter 27, verse 3. So, Sirach. So, Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, not Ecclesiastes. It says, unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown. You see what I'm saying? And diligently in the fear of the Lord is keeping all his laws, statutes, commandments. And a lot of dudes just take that to mean kind of the surface law. They don't realize it means that this also means the character law, like the developing, getting your mind right, getting your spirit right. It means that. So, so a lot of people, you know, they get in these situations. Hey, I'm keeping a Sabbath. I'm not eating pork. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm studying this. Why is there all this dysfunction in my house? Well, there's a whole nother area. There's how to deal with this woman, how to win this woman over, how to be patient and all that stuff like that. All right. So it says, 1 Peter 3-7, it says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So, again, understanding that the woman's a weaker vessel, she's more sensitive, more emotional than a man, you know, and she operates and communicates and processes stuff through senses and emotions more than a man. A man is straight logical, on and off, one or two, black or white, and a woman's like, well, it's kind of grayish, and it's kind of 1 and 2, it's like 1.5, and all that stuff. And being able to take that womanese, I call it womanese that they speak, and translate it into a man's understanding, the 1 and 2 black and white understanding, like, oh, okay. Like for instance, this brother here who wrote me this question, he trying to, well, why ain't she taking this? Well, you gotta deal with her as like the weaker vessel, translate her behavior, her actions, her communication, and say, hey, she just wants me to back off and let her figure it out at her own, like the sister posted in there. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's read another one. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he have denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. Okay? So that verse, a lot of people take that, oh yeah, so you got to get a job and that woman can't work and you got to be giving them money. And they take that to mean money. But it don't mean money. Like how many rich families with tons of money come in, you see with destroyed kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's not money. It's you're going to be worse than an infidel. And it says you have denied the faith. Well, how have you denied the faith? Because you ain't been bringing the truth into your household. So you got to teach your household. You see what I'm saying? All right. All right. So, yeah, it's a word, knowledge. Yep. So yeah, you know, let's see. Likewise. So, it says, this is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 23. It says, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. And the reason I put that in is because it said, even as Christ is the head of the church. So if you're a husband, you're in one of these situations and you're figuring out, you know, how should I handle it? Look at how Christ dealt with the church. He was patient with them. But and when I say church, the church is Israel. That the word church means Israel. Okay? So look at how Christ dealt with the church. Or look at how Christ dealt with Israel. He was patient with them. He was long-suffering. But patience and long-suffering don't just mean keep letting something go. Sometimes he'd turn his back from them. Sometimes he'd whoop them. He'd punish them. He gave a northern tribe, he gave them a bill of divorce for being disobedient and all that. I mean, that's a whole nother lesson right there. That's a whole nother heavy lesson right there. You see what I'm saying? But if you want to know the model of how you need to deal with your wife as a man, or if you're a woman and you want to know the model to judge the next man that you get in a relationship with by, look at how Christ dealt with Israel. Well, that's how a man should deal with you. And the women are like, well, that eliminates every man I ever mess with. Exactly. Like I tell people, like 90 or more % of men or women are bad relationship material. Most of them, you could just eliminate them just in the first couple seconds. You know, hey, you in the truth? Yeah, I go to Ebenezer Baptist, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Praise Jesus Church. And you'd be like, yeah, you probably not in the truth, you know. So, I mean, I'm telling you, you can eliminate bad relationship material quick just by knowing kind of where to look in the word to get your example. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So the next one I have is Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. It says, and the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. So, you know, I put that one in there just saying, you know, well, I'm not sure why I put that one in this breakdown, but it kind of takes me to something else I want to speak on is, hold on, we got a question here. It says, what should singles be doing who wish to be married? Are there common things Hebrew singles are doing to hinder being married? Another good question, man. That's a real good one. And yes, It is very obvious, and it is the more personal, the more universal. So, let me put it to you like this. Say you studying the word and you decide you want to get married. There's no reason you shouldn't be in a relationship in the next 3 months to 6 months max. It's very straightforward. So, and you're gonna just communicate back with me while I talk to let me know, because I'm gonna just go into it. What I find is, like, there was one person I counseled. They were like, they had the same thing. They're like, look, I'm this age and I'm not in a relationship. And this was actually my story too. This is why I know so much about relationships. But anyway, they're like, I'm this age, I'm not in a relationship, and I'm beginning to get worried. And is it me? And this, that, and the other. And I got in a relationship with this guy. And he was saying that I was this way or whatever, or it might be a man, and hey, I got with this woman and she didn't like this, and come to find out what it is you're in a world, this is the analogy I use, you're in a world of chickens. The world is full of chickens and you're a dove. And you trying to walk around and be a daggone chicken, but you're a dove. And the chicken really, like, there's just something weird about you. Get it. They know that you really don't belong with them. They can see that calling of the Most High in your life. So, and you're just in this world of chickens, and now you're beginning to find out, hey, I'm a dove. I'm supposed to be flying above all these chickens. So naturally, what do you need to do? You like, I want another dove to hang with. So you need to go where the doves are. Where are the doves at? Where are the like-minded believers at? So I told people, if you single, you in this truth, and you looking for somebody to meet, and you live out in a cornfield, and you saying I'm single, well, because you live out in the middle of a cornfield in Nebraska, and the next person lives 20 miles away. Why don't you move where the doves are? Where are these Hebrew groups that are like-minded believers that teach the same doctrine and understanding that you have? Where they at? Go to where they're at. And I'm not just saying up and move tomorrow. I'm saying we have plenty of events. Start going to the events and meeting people in person. Not on Facebook, in person. Go to the events. You already know they teach the same doctrine that you understand. You see what I'm saying? And the sister, she said, where are the quality brothers? Right here. Rebirth of a Nation. Hebrew Nation Builders and everybody affiliated with them. And they have multiple events every month. So that's where they are. So that's where you need to go. But a lot of people are dealing with a spirit of fear and they don't want to go out there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you my story. Okay, I'm going to tell you. All right, so let me. All right, somebody put some of that. It's not hard for women to serve. She was made. Yes, exactly. I'll hit on that later. So you gotta go where the doves are. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all my story. What happened with me, I turned, it was like 27, I was like 27, 28, something like that. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm not in a relationship. And I was like, and come to think of it, I never really been in a long-term relationship. It was like, you know what? I get puss, but it was like randomly, and I didn't like the ones I wanted to keep. I wouldn't, and the ones I didn't want to keep, I would. I would. And it was just, I was like, what the heck's going on? So I started studying relationships, And I was studying worldly knowledge on relationships. At best, it was a half-truth, but I began to develop myself and become more outgoing, be able to become more social. But then I was like, I'm still not meeting people the way I thought I would. And what happened one day, one of my buddies, because I was living in Middle Georgia, in a very rural area. There was a military base there, so it was all men. There weren't a whole bunch of women. So what happened, my buddy, I went up to New York and hung out with some of my friends, childhood friends. So we hung out up there in New York, and I had been studying all this stuff, and I'm in New York, and I'm just meeting women like people. Some people thought I was some celebrity because I was just meeting so many people and talking to them. And then at the time I was still in the military, so then I came back to Middle Georgia, and then I went on a military trip to military duty to a base in Vegas, Nellis Air Force Base. Went downtown Vegas, same thing. I'm meeting all types of people. I actually met some celebrities, and I'm like, wow. And then came back home. Then I went to like Orlando and Miami or something, same thing. And then it clicked. I was like, I just need to move. So I upped everything I had completely by myself, and I moved here to Jacksonville, Florida. 6 months later, I met my wife. Now, fast forward 10 years, we still married. So what I find are two things why a lot of people are single. Really three. Number one, getting your mind right. Okay? Developing your character, your patience, all that stuff like that. Getting biblical understanding for your spirit. Number two, overcoming the fear of being social and talking to people. That's huge. And then number three, overcoming the fear of moving or being willing to move, or at least be willing to go to some of these events and meet people in person and just talk and socialize with them. So one of those areas you're slacking in, maybe all three. If you begin to, if you dedicate yourself to fixing one or all those areas, 3 months max, I give you 3 months. You'll be single 3 more months, maybe 6. I don't know, but that's what it is. You see what I'm saying? It ain't. It's nothing else. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. Okay, so somebody put something in there. What should single? All right. Hebrew Nation have Feast of Trumpets in Atlanta today. Yeah, so if you're in the Atlanta area, I agree. The blessing is through the male child. If they want something else, let them have it. Let the Babylonian women alone. Exactly. Not seeking righteousness or truth, and there is none. Oh, there is so much. So I guess you meant so much loss and truth that has been hidden. There is no time to waste with. Okay. But this is the thing. You see a lot of people just digging all crazy deep into this book, and it's like what I talked about earlier. And like I had this one dude, he goes around the internet and he tells you you're an alien. He got an alien picture up there, and he tells you you're an alien and you need to learn Hebrew because Hebrew means an alien. And you don't know that because you don't know the Hebrew. And every time I see him, he pushing. If you don't know Hebrew, you're missing it all. And real talk, I could give my 7-year-old or give a 7-year-old the Bible and let them stumble through it, reading it, and they'll still get the basic gist of what that word is saying. That word is saying, get your mind right. You know? Now, I admit we do need to learn the Hebrew. Like I said, I had that brother on here, the brother who teaches the paleo. Had him on here last week. Because we do need to learn the Hebrew so we get a deeper understanding. But what I'm saying is, most of the people I'm dealing with out here are wrestling with surface level stuff that they should have been got in order before they went diving into all this deep stuff. You know what I'm saying? All right. So Brother Earl put that in Genesis. He put could be why it's not hard for women to serve and be humble. She was made to assist Adam. His task was to dress and keep the garden. In Hebrew, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Okay. So dress. She humble. She was made to assist Adam. His task was to dress and keep the garden. In Hebrew, dress and keep can also mean to worship. So in Hebrew, dress and keep to mean worship. Eve and obey. My wife assist. Yeah, I'll tell you this from experience, from biblical understanding. Like everywhere you look, and when it comes to dealing with women and attraction, the way I teach men is attraction is respect. The woman has to respect you, and a woman can't resist being submissive to you when you're walking in biblical masculinity. And that's that whole thing where I talk about when you doing the affection, the direction, and the correction. They naturally fall in order on that. And it's funny because I've been around like men I was counseling, everything like that. And they're like, yeah, my wife don't respect me, this, that, and other. And I get around their wife and they see that I'm a man of direction and focus and all that. And they naturally obey what I do. And the men are like confounded. They're like, and I try not to get in those situations because really, I don't need to counsel a woman. I could just get the man right and the woman will fall in order. But, I mean, in this feminized society, because we swim in an ocean of emasculation and feminization, all that, in this society, men aren't even aware that this reality exists to where, yeah, you can become a leader and your woman an assertive, righteous, biblically masculine, balanced leader, and your woman will naturally fall in the line. Like nobody talks about that. They talk about everything else. But this is the biggest elephant in the room, is we got to get our women in order. And the way to get our women in order is for us to walk and lead and everything like that. What they do is say, oh, the man's the problem. The men are the problem. But what's the solution? The men have to begin to lead and take control, take the power back in their homes and their relationships. All right. So there are many single brothers and sisters at the gatherings. Well, there you go. Look, see, they just confirmed it again, brother. Brother over there on Facebook, or sister, or whoever that was. It said this brother here said, there are many single brothers and sisters at the gatherings. I have met many. How many Hebrews are using worldly standards instead of Torah-based ones for their choosing criteria? Hey, we're going to park it right there on that. That's good. We're going to sit here for a sec. Yeah, because the world tells you, well, how do you feel? And how does he look? And what type of jobs he have? But meantime, the dude might be a whoremonger or something like that. And then for the men, it's like, well, how does she look? How big her butt is? You know, she give you the naughty tingles when you look at her, then you should go with her. And then come to find out, like, she like super duper hard rock headed. You know what I'm saying? And just love to argue. You know? So when reality, the standard for women to judge a man is, like I told you earlier, Christ, how he dealt with the church. That's the standard. And people are like, well, that's a high saying. Yeah, that's going to weed out all the trouble out of your life. You know what I'm saying? And then the standard for the woman is read through all them verses. And it's going to weed out all these daggone women too. Because the Bible gives a real clear and obvious standard for the women. You know, it gives that too. All right. So that's a good one. Being ethically upright according to Yah. I'm with you on focusing on the surface level. Agree. All right. So yeah. Yeah. All right. So I see y'all put some stuff over here on okay, so somebody put Hebrew women will soon have dreams of the devil begging them to come back to him. Watch the media. Explain what you mean. I don't understand what you mean. So, and y'all still... Okay, Eve has a choice. Oh. But this is the thing. What I find... a lot of men who complain about women. Now, there's some women out there that are just straight nightmares and hopeless, you know, where they just real stubborn and disobedient, dig their feet and all that, and they ain't gonna change. That's out there. But majority of women, if you're walking as a balanced, biblically masculine man, if you're walking in your biblical masculinity, they'll fall right in line. And a lot of dudes like, well, not mine. Yeah, yours, you know? So, and like I said, check those lessons out, because the majority of my lessons are on that topic, because it's so important. It's so at the core of everything, you know? So, I'm not going to go into a lesson on that. So somebody put, our women have never seen a Hebrew man unshackled. Exactly. No, our men either. Our men haven't seen don't even know what it is to be a man. So, yeah. You know, but it's all in the book, but it's so opposite what is in this culture that it's hard to see. You miss it. Because it's so opposite of this culture, you can't even see it in there until somebody gets it all together and begins to point it out to you in there. And that's what I do in a lot of my lessons. Hebrew women will soon let's see, has a choice. The husband is a constant teacher, yet a constant symbol of love and security, faith and understanding, loyalty. And the husband is a constant teacher, and not in a school way where you're pointing at a board and teaching, but as an example, walking it out, being that example. This is something I tell people, man. Like, a lot of people like, oh, the worst thing you could ever do is like be disrespectful to a woman or something like that, or say this or say that. I'm gonna tell y'all, the worst thing a child could see growing up is disorder in the roles in the house, where a woman is in the leadership role and the man is just this beat down follower. But that's all you see. That's this society, and that's why the black homes are just, and black relationships are just a disastrous mess. Cause if I tell a man like the last thing that ever occurred to a man is, hey, I need to just step up and be in a leadership role. Everything in the media and in society is telling them opposite. You know, if she gets angry at you, get her more roses and more chocolates, and get down even lower on your knees and beg for forgiveness to that goddess. You know, that's what this society tells them. And then it accelerates the destruction of their marriage and their relationship. You know what I'm saying? So somebody said balance is the key. My wife thought I didn't love her because of how hard I was when I came to truth. I was shocked when she told me that. I have so much respect for her. She gave birth to my children and went through all the criminal situations with me when I got myself caught up. We can learn from them. Okay, yeah, and I agree with you on that. But this is what I'm saying, okay? What this society does is it puts women above the word. And then when you come in this truth, you realize, hey, I got to put this word first, okay, in every way. And a lot of women, that's pulling that pedestal out from over them of that goddess worship. So a lot of them, it's like, whoa, what's going on here? Until they begin to see that this is making him into a better man than if he was just, walking, just doing it the worldly way. Okay. So the husband is, I'm confused. Should be spitting game to women. You said you're confused. Should we be spitting game to women? I think I understand what you meant. Let me see. He should be a representation of the Most. I don't know if that's right or wrong to be spitting game to women. If you walking up to women, you like, hey girl, I dropped something, and she like, what? This conversation, let's pick it up right here. And you doing stupid stuff like that. Yeah, that's corny anyway. So you like, should we be spitting game to women? When you say spitting game, should you be approaching women and trying to talk to them? Yeah, unless you want to be single. I mean, how else are you going to meet them? We don't have our nation established to where we can have a, it's all messed up here. We're broken apart. So we don't have it all the way yet where you could approach a man and he can set that, like the minute the fathers of the bride and groom can, hey, yeah, your daughter should marry mine. We don't have that set up yet. So, yeah, when you go to an event, you should be like, hey, how you doing? And just talk to people, not spitting game. You just want to see where their head's at. Make sure they ain't crazy. Don't get it twisted. I didn't say everybody at this event is marriage material and it's going to be perfect and just, no. So, yeah, you got to learn how to develop your conversational and communication skills. Men and women alike. Like a man has to get over his fear walking up to somebody and say, hey, how you doing? And having a conversation with them. And the women have to learn to not buy into society's, ghetto black woman thing, like, I'm fine, and all that stuff. You got to get away. So you know, so yeah, you gotta, but basically, like when you go to these events, you just go to these events and you socialize. You know, you fellowship and talk the word and whatever, and you're gonna begin to get to know people. And somebody might be like, they meet you like, oh, okay, you live there? Oh yeah, sister so-and-so from there, she's single, boom. And boom, y'all start talking, whatever. You know, you're just gonna meet people. I don't know how it's gonna go. But if you that dude over there, you know, hardcore look in the corner looking crazy, and you expect something to happen, it ain't gonna happen. So yeah, so you gotta, you know, you gotta talk. That's right. Somebody put, a lot of men don't know how to be themselves. Same for the women. And let me tell y'all this. Let me tell y'all women this. Dude, if a dude's scared to come up and talk to you, praise y'all, because the dude hasn't overcome the spirit of fear, and you don't want to be in a relationship with him anyway. You know what I'm saying? Hebrew. And same thing, brothers. You walk up to a sister, talk to her, she got all that attitude and all that stuff right from the jump. Praise Yah for showing you up front that she's a nightmare. All right. I've never seen. Hebrew women will, let's see. The husband is a constant teacher, yet constant symbol of love and security. Let's see. The world wants you to cow and toe the woman, but women don't respect men that does these things. Well, there's a balance to that. You said the world wants you to cow and toe the woman. Yeah, you need to be the head, and you need to be assertive and all that. And yeah, and a woman isn't gonna be attracted to somebody she can't respect. And that's the bulk of my teachings on all my other videos, so y'all can look all that up. The most fearing thing in a loving child's eyes is the disappointed father. The child that knows the father loves them will rise like a phoenix, only if the father is exactly. Men deal with each level they are. Yeah. How would I go about gaining communication skills? So how would you go about gaining communication skills? That's a good question. Because that's something I had to do. And go on spiritual. You could go on Spiritual Combat and the Michael Israel on Facebook channel, and I got a ton of videos on that. But I'm gonna tell you right now too. So, but the way I say to do it is you just got to begin to get out there. Now, it depends on how nervous you are. One thing I tell people is, like one way to start off is when you go out, when you go to work or wherever you go out for one day, say, what I'm going to do is every person that walks by me, I'm going to just go, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? To every person that walks by you. Just go, hey, how you doing? If that's too much for you, if that's too big of a step, every person that walks by you, you know, whatever day it is, just make some brief eye contact. Start there. You know, and just make some quick, brief eye contact with them. You know, because you might be too nervous for that. So just make quick, brief eye contact. If that's too much, just make it a point that every time you go in the store, you know, and you're buying something, you just say hi to the cashier. A cashier at these stores, they're paid to say hi and to be friendly with you. You know, you go to Publix. I don't know where you live. We got Publix here. That's a grocery store. And like it's kind of a more upscale grocery store, so the cashiers have to have a little conversation with you, you know. But you might need to start there. What I did, because I was a little further ahead, is I said everybody walks by me, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to have a short conversation with them. So they're like, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. You know, what do you think of the weather? You know, and you mess up a couple of them, stumble, but then you just kind of get used to it, you know? And so all that to say, you just slowly advance that thing up till you're more and more outgoing. And it took me one day, I went from making eye contact to having full out conversations to I'm in the line and this is before I got married. I'm in line and there's a decent looking woman and I just full on start a conversation with her. No problem. To all the way to the point where now I'm able, like, taking that to a whole nother level. William Majors over Boom, he's let me do some lessons. So I taught in front of a crowd of people, you know. The first time, I kind of stumbled through it. I wasn't making very good eye contact. The second time, I was looking right at the crowd and I was comfortable. And then it took me to a whole nother level with my communication skills. Okay? So, baby steps. You don't gotta, you know what I'm saying? You know, I could tell you stories, but anyway, Joy, men deal with each woman. How would, all right, so if she don't. So yeah, and then, so, for instance, so I took it to the point where, yeah, I have a little conversation and then keep it moving or whatever. To the point where then, and like I said, this before I was in the truth, yeah, before I was married, then the next level was I'd go to a club, or, for instance, when I went to New York City, I was just talking to everybody. I walk into some of the upscale lounges there and just start talking to everybody, and people would be around me, and then other people would see me, everybody talking to me, and then they'd come up after the other people left and be like, so who are you? Are you, like, why is everybody, you know? I'm like, I'm nobody. I'm just me. I just talk to everybody, you know? And it turned into a thing of its own, you know? And, but yeah, and that's a big fear a lot of our especially our men, a lot of our men have, is just talking to people, you know, walking up to a woman and talking to them. And that I could tie all that in. I'm not going to do it now, to the feminization of this society. You know what I'm saying? They don't, you know, it really emasculates men big time. So somebody wrote, I make some men nervous when I look them directly in the eyes. You can see the lack of confidence in some of them. Look at me, not the wall. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, me, it's like, I'm like, if I haven't been around people for a long time, you know, I might be a little nervous at first, but it's like, what you'll find is the same way I'm talking right now is the same way I talk to my kids, same way I talk to my wife, same way I talk to my boss, same way I talk to everybody. I was like, but you see a lot of people, yeah, they one way when they're around some people they're comfortable with, they're another way over here, then they're another way out here, and then you get them out in a public place, hey, go talk to them. They're like, oh God, no. You know, so they're totally different. And that the sister said it right on the money. And when you look a man in their eyes, you can see, like, that dodgy eye contact. They all like that. Warning! Get up out of there. He's soft. He a chump. You know what I'm saying? So you as a man, you need to develop that. And overcoming all these different hang-ups and hurdles and sins and stuff you caught up in builds confidence, builds even more confidence. It's like a confidence snowball. So a lot of men are wrestling with porn addiction and lust, and you look them up in their eyes and you can see it. They all like, yeah. That's one of the things that emasculates men and disempowers them. The shame of that. So it's heavy. All right, y'all. All right, still here. She don't like your energy. Keep it moving. Still here on way to work. Not used to brother being on this late weekday. Very excellent broadcast. Yeah. The Most High runs the world, so forget the other stuff. All right. So he said the Most High runs the world, so forget the other stuff. Yeah, just do it his way, you know. It says the Most High is not giving us a spirit of fear, but of a sound mind. So that being fearful of communication, that's an issue. That ain't just cool. That ain't just something to, oh, well, I'm a humble Bible reader, so yeah, I don't talk too much. No. Realize you got that spirit of fear in that area and go through it and overcome it. Or, you know, you ain't gonna meet nobody if they don't know you, if they don't know who you are. How you gonna meet somebody? All right. Thank you. Yes, I know that you are spiritually in tune, woman. So, be loved, but the nerves are real. Breathe. Listen, breathe. Israel, expand your soul. Yeah, well, this is the thing. You know, you can breathe all you want, but but it gotta be about that action. Like, you could do all types of breathing and meditation to get the nervous feeling. Get comfortable with the nervous feeling and go through it. Because there's going to be situations where the nervous feeling come up or whatever. Go through it. Go through the fear in order to get rid of it. You see what I'm saying? You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you make excuses or tell you some little technique. Be a soldier and go through that thing. It is what it is. How women choose. My women choose me. She loves me and understands that nature. I mean, I can take another wife if I want it, but not in the gym. All right, so I don't know what y'all talking about now. All right, but anyway. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate y'all tuning in. And try to do this more often. You know, I don't always, you know, I'm off today, so I'm not always able to stay on this late or come on this late. But, you know, and like I said, if you want to tune in, I've been pretty busy lately, but normally it's in the morning, early, around 5 o'clock. I'll go live for about 20 or 40 minutes or something like that. And but even if you don't catch the live, you know, you catch my videos. I'm on YouTube at Spiritual Combat, and I'm on Facebook. I got a Spiritual Combat page on Facebook and my Michael Israel page. Also, I'm on Twitter now through Periscope, so I'm streaming on there too. So, and there was a good group of people watching it on there. I didn't think anybody was going to be watching it for the first couple videos, but I appreciate them watching there. And I'm going to start following the questions on there and statements. I wasn't able to do it. I'm going to set the app up on my phone so I'm able to follow questions. But I'm going to go back and watch it on for y'all, those of y'all on Periscope over there on Twitter. I'm going to come over there and watch it and try to answer your questions if you had any or comments. But anyway, with that said, appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate the interaction and the dialogue and the questions. Y'all had some great questions. Appreciate you, Sister Hicks, Earl, Evelyn, all y'all who tuned in there. appreciate y'all tuning in and getting this lesson. And with that said, I'm going to wrap this up. Shalom, y'all.